welcome. Hopefully, I don't get interrupted in this live session. Today, where I'm reacting to a video on YouTube. It's a 3 minute video, has about 2.8 million views, and the title is exactly what you're seeing here, which is Love Lessons and I think 125 plus years worth of marriage advice in 3 minutes. So that's what I'm reacting. So this is my take version of that video. Basically, they have one of the first pushback you might have is they are just white people, white older people. Okay, the minimum of those couples are 50 years. Okay, so I would do. I don't know if we do turn this into a series later on. Hit the like button, share, subscribe. I shall comment in, please. But yes, I want to talk. Okay, I just want to chat with you guys. I have like a little bit of 60 minutes to burn or so, and I want us to talk about that. All right, 125 years worth of marriage advice. There are two main points that became the two most popular comments. Let me see that I want to focus on for this particular live stream. Okay. Please, as you're coming in, hit the like button. Help me ping everybody else into the room. If you hit the like button, you help me invite 5,000 other people, subscribers here. Here, I appreciate you. So I'm going to be sharing some extremely valuable stuff. All right, good. So there are two popular comments on that video. If you want to watch it yourself, once we're done with this, you can go back and watch the video. A lot of good insights, as you can imagine. Um, One of the things that I feel like is killing marriages today is the struggle with humility, the struggle with pride. It's one of the things that's killing marriages. And I don't say that to say people are intentionally being prideful. Okay, if it was that easy, then we could just instruct them and they would just change. It's not that simple. It's a lot more harder than just telling people to stop being prideful, right? So pride is a very destructive thing, particularly because it's something that happens to people from a place of lack of self-awareness for the most part, you know. Lack of self. Welcome, Makula. Welcome, Renis. Hi, hi. Hit the like button. Thank you as you're coming in. Gaming legend. Hit the like button as you're coming in. Hit the like button. We're talking about marriage. If you're interested in marriage, stick around. I'm going to be sharing some solid lessons today. If you say anything that is not congruent with what we're doing here, you can get blocked. So let's pay attention, okay? Hit the like button so you can help me ping everybody else into the room. Love lessons, 125 years worth of marriage. I haven't been around for 125 years, okay? But I just watched a video on YouTube, and that video is a 3 minutes video, and that video is about 2.8 million views right now. You can watch it. All you have to do is type in marriage advice online. I think it comes right out, depending on where you are, right? So there were two major comments that I really want us to address. Okay. And those two major comments is something that I think a lot of people mishandle when it comes to marriage, and I feel like we should talk about them. The first comment was more so about how those couples in that video, they were still the physical touch was still solid. You could see them touching each other in a very affectionate way, and they've been married for more than 50 years, right? And there are multiple ways to interpret that. It could be like, oh yeah, no wonder they're still together. But in that same video, you will hear a lady, one of the wives, actually said, well, it's kind of ridiculous for you to think you'll be in a honeymoon phase for all of those years. Okay. So the minimum number of years any of the couples have been married was essentially 50 years. Okay. There was 51 years, 55 years, about three different couples. And like I said, on this same platform, what was it, like 2 weeks ago, I did a video about the 50 years worth of marriage, right? So the reality is that it's not, a lot of people have been married for long years and they are terrible advisors, okay? So I'm not going to just tell you that's the end all be all. and you're just supposed to be taking any of their words. You got to be careful with that, okay? So that's why the key thing is always to work on yourself so that you can discern. You know when something is right, you know when something is wrong. Your spirit can just tell you, okay? Hit the like button. Help me ping everybody else into the room. Hit the like button. Let's get the likes up to 7 at least. Thank you. I appreciate you. All right. So the effect, even though they're still touching each other, um, that is, you're looking at the end result, the outcome of figuring out marriage over a period of 50 years. Okay, you might be in a phase right now where you're not in that space with your partner. All right, the lame mind will say, well, I knew we're not compatible, right? But the wise one, which is most people that come here, uh, the wise one is like they've done some work. They've done some work. All right, right? The in between the wise one and the lame one will be like, well, marriage is a hard work, so I don't know if I'm willing to do that work. Well, guess what? You can avoid marriage all you want. It's still work that you need to do. As long as you're looking to interact with human beings, you have to do this work. All right. If you're watching this as a replay later on, make sure you're hitting the like button. Thank you. I appreciate you for doing so. Okay. All right. So as long as you are in this life and your success will involve some level of interaction with other human beings because Yoruba people sọ pé èèyàn láṣọ èèyàn, right? You're gonna have to deal with other human beings. You have to interact with other human beings. Hit the like button. You have to interact with other human beings. So if you have to interact with other human beings, these are skill set that you need to learn anyway. All right? Very, very, very important. Something to pay attention to. So the fact that they're still touching each other and they're affectionate, and they still have, the statement says physical. They say the physical touch they still have with each other, right? Notice the physical touch they still have with each other. That is a function of the work they have done on themselves as individuals. First, as individuals, okay, but also the work they've done on the marriage. Babe Zund, welcome, Jerry. How are you doing? Shout out to everybody else watching too. Right? The work is necessary. Why work? Work is not fun. Well, work is a beautiful thing. If you're able to work, that is a blessing. Okay? If you can't comprehend work, if you comprehend work as just too much of hard work that is worth it, that really means that you are struggling in life. That's usually what that means. That means if you're not struggling yet in life, you're probably a child and you will struggle in life. Because anything that's worthwhile in life requires work. Well, marriage is not no different. Okay? So does that sound unattractive? Does that make you want to avoid marriage? So be it. Maybe you should avoid marriage. Okay. Maybe you should. Okay. But for an average person, they understand. They get it. They understand that this is about work. Okay. Babe Wins, if you can, please help me share this to the backstage so that they can know that I'm live. Okay. So that's the first thing first is what, so exactly how much work is it going to take to have that level of physical touch with your partner? Does it have to take you 50 years or 125 plus years? No, it doesn't. It doesn't, but it's going to take some work. Now, initially, when you fall in love with a person, you're probably touching each other a lot, like a whole lot, right? Of course, that's easy. That's easy, right? Betty, right? That's going to disappear, okay? That initial affection, infatuation that you have, in love experience that you have with that person that you really don't know, right? That experience is going to disappear because, see, finish, complacency, right? Taking each other for granted is going to happen. It's inevitable, it's only a matter of time. Oh no, but yeah, we can just talk and have conversations and avoid. That will never happen to us. That's called delulu. Okay, it will happen. Okay. You can also say, no, that will never be me. You have the right to say that. But the issue here in that conversation is that there's another human being involved. And you're not going to be able to control them when they get caught up in their feelings. Yeah, even if you've had conversations, hey, listen, listen, babe, Whenever we have issues, I would like us to come to each other and just talk about it. Listen, if that works for you, you can still just now and go and have that conversation with your partner, husband or wife, right? It might. You might be the exception. There's exception to every rule. For most people, all that is going to get tested. You're going to feel like you're the one communicating and the other person is not listening. And the reality might just be the opposite of that, might be the flip opposite of that. It might be you not listening. But more importantly, what's going to happen is that you will be operating from your place of emotions. You can't see that you're the one that's not listening because you don't feel heard, you don't feel seen. So naturally, you feel like the other person is the one not listening to you, right? You feel like the one that's not hearing you out, right? But you're not calming down long enough to realize that that person might be the one not feeling heard or feeling seen. All of this is easier said than done. All of this is not, it's majority of us we're going to commit this atrocity, okay? But when you're aware, it's half the battle won. Half of the battle is won when you're aware, right? And most people cannot bring themselves to that awareness. Even if they bring themselves to that awareness, sometimes controlling themselves can be a very, very difficult thing to do. Does that make sense? I hope so. Hit the like button, hit the like button. Thank you. If I say anything that makes sense, please just make sure that the like button leads blue. All right. So, emotions, right? Physical touch. We're talking about physical touch right now. All right. If you're a Nigerian, maybe this is not much of a big deal for you if you've been married for 30 plus years. Okay. But I guarantee you, if you've been married for anything less than 10 years, this is important to at least one of you guys. There is always one coconut head who is saying, no, it's not my thing. I don't care. You don't have to touch me. You don't have to buy flowers. Well, good. But there's more to it, right? There's more to that conversation. We're talking about physical touch and somebody admiring that these couples, each one of them, they've been married for 50 years plus, right? 125 plus years in total of marriage. I think two people have been married for more than 50 years and the other person maybe a little bit less than 50 years. So they were touching each other, holding hands. The video is right there on YouTube. 2.8 million views, a 3 minutes video, right? And somebody was fantasizing about like, you see how they could still touch each other, still touch each other. I guarantee you they went through phases. There's valleys, right? That they went through valleys of the shadows of death. Every marriage will go through that phase for any mix of arrays of reasons. Sometimes it's finances. You know what you do? You blame it on the finances, right? It's very easy to blame it on finances because that's the symptom, that's the result. And yes, it can completely destroy everything. It can destroy everything. So then they have physical touch, but that is the end result. It's like somebody saying it takes two to tango, like that's the end result. In the beginning, when you're going through this process, that most likely attract you to this kind of video and live session. When you go through that process, you're going to feel like you're the only one tangoing. You're going to feel like you're the only one doing all the work. And in that case, you're going to have a good reason, a very valid reason to throw in the towel, to feel like I'm giving up. This is not working out. This is never going to work out. You're going to feel frustrated. It's one of two things. You're going to end up begging, 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 or you're going to feel like you need to throw in the towel and quit right now. And by the way, you jump on this internet streets, you're going to find enough people that will tell you to quit now. They'll tell you, quit now, run for your life. Well, we can't blame those people because the reality is that if you're not ready to leave, you're not going to leave. You're not going to find it easy to just leave because once upon a time when you signed up for that marriage, the plan wasn't to just leave. That wasn't the plan. So because that wasn't the plan, in fact, you have enough people on the internet tell you that people are just pretending. They just want to get married to you and leave you. You will have people saying that too, which is quite ridiculous, But people do say that too. So some people just get into marriage only because of your money. I was like, yeah, there has to be a little bit more to why a person will go through a whole wedding. Now, depending on what society you find yourself, I would be careful with that. But I will still blame you if you marry somebody who was just in it just because of the money. I will still blame you for that. It's still your fault. Because how long did you date them for? Right? How much work have you done on yourself? Do you have the ability to discern? Anyway, I'm rambling. Back to the topic. The physical touch that people have at 50 years in marriage was not always there. Okay? It wasn't always there. That is the end result. That's the end goal, right? If that end goal looks good to you, the more it looks good to you, the more you should realize that it's going to take work. It's going to take passing a lot of tests, right? What you're looking at is a testimony, the results of many, many past tests. And by the way, many, many failed tests. Just because you failed a test one time does not mean it has to be the end of it all. It doesn't have to be the end of that story. Okay? It doesn't have to be the end of that story. So when people feel safe enough to be engaged in physical touch with you, the key word is safe. Let's go back to safe. They're feeling safe. There's something else that happened to show that on the surface. If they seem like they're always smiling at each other, they seem like they finish each other's sentences, they feel like they've got it all figured out and they have this grand, right? Because it's not just about a bunch of old people on the internet now. It's not just about that. It's about the it's about the fact that they don't feel it doesn't make sense. They don't have to pretend to you lots. Okay, you don't have to. These are very old people, 50 plus years married. Okay, so they don't really need to lie to anybody. That's why it might seem oversimplified. So when somebody says, well, if you think that we've been in honeymoon all along, that's ridiculous, then you better understand where that's coming from. Okay, so the physical touch, even if we're talking about sexual relations, being able to figure all that out, is a function of not good rabbits or toys, or understanding all the English parts or all the different terminologies that you might learn in sexual, what is sex therapy. What about understanding that it all starts from here? That person feels safe, secure. Of course, they can't wait to touch you. And sometimes that is a function of time. That sometimes that takes lots of work. Okay, well, lots of work. What kind of work are we talking about? Because you're going to rub each other up the wrong way many times over a period of 50 years, especially earlier on in the years they are. You're going to test each other. You're going to trigger each other completely negatively. And when that happens, how you react is everything. Hit the like button if you haven't done that. Hit the like button. Thank you. How you react is everything. The easy way to react is with your emotions. Okay? The hardest way to react is is some level of self-control, right? Some level of self-awareness. That's going to be very, very hard, right? What do I mean by hard? You're going to you're going to feel like it's over, like there's no way out. Wait, you're I'm painting a picture of doom and gloom. No, it's not. It's just that those moments, those few moments, right? Those few moments is going to feelings. It's going to feel that way. It's not necessarily the reality, but those few moments is going to feel that way. Okay. But all you're projecting, maybe I'm projecting. But actually, what I'm sharing with you is a life phenomenon. It's not just it's not just what's it called? It's not just to marriage. It's like anything in life, anything that's worthwhile. Career, entrepreneurship, right? Building anything that's worthwhile, a massive project, right? Leading a pack of people, even that one, right? But of course, most importantly, marriage, because The family is the cornerstone of our society. It dictates how you're going to show up, right? So there's really one secret in all of this. It's emotions and emotional intelligence. It's essentially the same thing. Emotions is just dangerous to operate from a place of emotions. Emotional intelligence is a tool, a skill set that will allow you to manage not just your emotions but other people's emotions. Now, in the case of the scope of marriage, then you understand that we're talking about your partner. Sometimes your partner is just gonna be mad, like pure, straight up, just mad, right? And I'm laughing because it's not funny when that happens. The other side of things that is gonna happen from a blind spot. Okay, it's gonna absolutely happen from a blind spot. So, I do think premarital counseling can help, only to a certain extent, because you can't really comprehend all the way what you're being taught. You don't have any idea, but I do think everybody should engage some form of education, structured education, not necessarily school, because I don't think they're teaching this in schools yet. They're teaching people how to become therapists. Go figure. They're teaching people how to become coaches and therapists, but they're not teaching people how to live in one successfully for a lifetime. Write that down. There are tons of schools around this nation, around the world, that are teaching marriage and therapy, marriage and family therapy, MFT, giving people certificates, but they can't really put it to use in their own life. Okay, how do they defend this? When you ask them, "What's your status? What exactly?" Now you're going personal. I don't want to tell you my status. Check now on this internet street now. Anybody, most of the people that are arguing the loudest about marriage, about relationships on this internet, when you ask them what's their status, they will tell you it's none of your business for the most part. They tell you that's personal. They will tell you it's okay for me to have an opinion without telling you my personal story. Are they right? Yes. Is that problematic? Yes. Yeah, it is. Yes, that's problematic. Okay. That's very problematic in this world that everybody is so distracted with other people's stories. So I can't really judge them, right? But really, how do we learn life without case studies, without examples, with just theory, right? It's very, 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 very difficult. And it's very easy to just run your mouth about something that you don't know, particularly from a place of common sense. Shout out to Donald Trump, the party of the common sense people, right? It's very easy for everybody to do that. So for example, common sense will tell you, you see 70-year-old people, they have physical touch. This must be how they went all the way through. They just have physical touch. No, you're wrong. Okay, they've had moments when the last thing they wanted to do is touch each other, much less having sex. Okay, what you're looking at is people who have fought through. Now, we can't judge people that can't fight through. That doesn't help because that will be a function of your own mindset. Judgmental behavior in general will work against marriage. Blame, shame, guilt, tripping, complaining, criticism, condemnation will work against marriage all the time, 100% of the time. Shaming in particular, not shame. There's a difference between shaming and shame. Shame is a function of value system. Shaming is a strategy that doesn't work. See the difference? And there are way too many people inside of marriage trying to use shaming to create value that didn't exist in the first place. You cannot use shaming to create value systems. What you can teach is value systems. And that usually comes from a positive angle. Shaming is you trying to provoke a negative feeling in another person, trying to manipulate them to your line of thought. We all do it. Stop the cap. No, only narcissists do it. Welcome to the real world. You also have narcissistic traits. Anytime you feel the need to explain yourself until that person can see your point of view, there's a good chance you're treading the line of narcissistic behavior because clearly you're struggling with listening. Listening, active listening in particular, is a very hard thing to do, but it's a highly rewarding skill set if you can figure it out. Okay? Well, some people end up in a place during the course of their marriage, 50 plus years marriage, and they hit rock bottom, but they still have enough grace to say, you know what, me just talking and talking that's not helping. Let me hear this other person out. Let me see where they're trying to come from. Maybe I won't understand today, but let me try. Maybe I feel frustrated. Maybe I feel like that person has become a broken record. They're just repeating the same stuff. But let me try. Let me try just one more time. When is one more time going to end? We don't know. We can't shame people. Everybody's threshold is different. But I'm just letting you know that's what it takes. And it's not just isolated to just the scope of marriage. This is anything you will ever do successfully in life. You will get to a place where you feel the need to quit, but you try just one more time. Trying just one more time could be about your life. There's some marriages that don't need to stand. It could mean you not giving up on life altogether. It could mean backing off and taking care of yourself maybe for the first time ever in your life, right? It just depends on what we're talking about. There's a lot of variables, which is one of the things that makes it difficult. There's a lot of moving parts to marriage, entrepreneurship, someone's career life, right? So a need empathy is always a key thing. And that empathy, you're gonna need to give it to yourself first in order to be asking other people to give it to you. If you have to ask people to give it to you, it's probably not working. It's okay to communicate and say you need it, but please manage your expectations around other people's capability to give you empathy. In a lot of ways, when I say these things to you guys, I'm speaking to self. Self-care, self-care, self-care. Okay. So again, I was still talking about physical touch. Okay. Physical touch. Some people struggle with it, some people don't struggle with it. Your own problems might be different. I'm talking specifically about the things you struggle with, right? So the people that pick that up, that's what they could see, but they're looking at the surface. There's a lot of underground work and struggles and fight that has happened before a person get into a space where it looks good on the surface. Okay. So what you need to do is ask them, how did you get here? Tell me about the challenges. When you're talking to the next older persons you're talking to, you want to get some wisdom from them. Don't let them get away with telling you just love each other. Just be kind to each other. Nice, thanks. Tell me about those challenges that you've had. You learn more. Tell me about those challenges and how you went and how you got through those challenges. Okay, it's not just them telling you on the internet. You see a lot of people telling you about their challenges. They'll tell you that every man is a narcissist, and they'll tell you that every woman are wicked and lack accountability. That's what they'll tell you on the internet. Okay, but tell them, like, tell me about the challenges, but tell me also about how you got through it. That's what my book is about. You can download my books in the description box. We'll tell you the challenges, but we'll also tell you how we got through them. We'll also tell you about the ongoing need to manage your life, your relationship with a partner. We also tell you about that, right? Here's one thing I can guarantee you, right? The more challenges you get through, the stronger you become. It's like building muscles because you're probably not going to go through the same thing the same way over and over again. It will come in a different shape, form, or format over a period of time. So you understanding that goes a long way. So when you see, quote unquote, the devil present itself to you, you will struggle, but the struggle will build some additional muscles. Eventually, it's all patterns. You see them coming from afar and you'll be able to walk through them because life is about patterns. But initially, short term, it doesn't always look like patterns. It looks like you're crashing. If you look at the stock market, right? It looks like you're crashing out. They call it crashing out today, right? Look at you're crashing out and everything's about to burn, right? That's what it looks like if you're just looking at short term. If you're looking at just 3 days, just the last 1 week, it looks like you're crashing your burn, like the whole world is about to end. It's highly frustrating. But You need to understand that's just how life works. The stock market over a period of time, even over a matter of 5 years, you'll see a different type of pattern. You see that all the while it was going up for those that stay in. For those that sell prematurely, it's a wrap. So I just want you to understand that if you see anybody physical touch, your what do you call them? The what do you call them? Um, Marriage goal, relationship goals. If you see them and they look good on the outside, I want you to understand that you're looking at the end result. And the grass might seem greener on the other side. You need to do your own work, starting with you personally, but of course a joint effort in collaboration with your partner. Okay, and if you understand that, then you will not just be fine or just be okay. You will thrive. Other people will look at you as couple goals, marriage goals, right? It's only you that will probably understand, like, oh my shield, oh my shield. Yes, it's couples goal, but do you want to hear what it takes to get here? Do you have enough patience to go into the description box and download the book and actually take the time to read it 10 to 15 times? Most of you is not. The answer is not. And I understand it. I know the numbers. I know the numbers. I know how many people are downloading the books. We launched the Get My Marriage Back book about 6 years ago. I know how many people have downloaded the book. Obviously, I do. And I know there's more people come here than the number of people that have downloaded the books. And that's okay. That's what separates the losers from the winners. Second thing that really stood out, which is how I found that out, is because you look in the comment of that video, the 3 minutes video. The video is a 3 minutes video, has the same title except the My Take part on YouTube. That video is Love Lessons 125 plus years worth of marriage advice. Right? It's a 3 minutes video, 2.8 million views. Probably most people just watch it real quick because it's a short video and they move on because attention span is at all-time low. That's all-time low. Let me see here. Let me just see. 1 second, guys. I'm here with you guys. Sorry. Let me hope. All right, good. So attention span is at all-time low. Yeah, all-time low. So people just watch 3 minutes video. They really grasp the concept? No, they don't have patience for it. They're busy chasing the bag, getting the money, right? Men believe if they chase the bag, women will come to them. And yet, Elon Musk got so hungry and made sure that Donald Trump won because of his struggle with romantic relationships. Yes, I said it. All right. Bill Gates, done. Marriage is over. Jeff Bezos, done. These are the richest people in the world. Marriage is over. So it can look like it's about money short term. In the long run, you're gonna need to have more. All those women all those 400 women allegedly that got slept with by one man, they are all high class, high profile women, and yet they couldn't stay with their rich husband. They had to sleep with a young 54-year-old woman. They all share the same one man. So it's not just about money. Short term, I understand it can feel that way. Initially, in this moment in time when you're struggling financially, you might think it's about money. Money is very important. Money is a vehicle. But in the long run, you're gonna find out that it's about more. You need more than just money. Okay. So I'm rounding this up right now. The second thing that came out as a lesson that some people highlighted in the comment of that video is that you cannot change other people. African men, I see you struggle a lot with this. You cannot change other people. African men have their own plight, by the way. As time goes on, I will continue to talk about this, but we need to listen to what their struggles are. They have their own struggles because of so many moving variables, right? But I'm also dragging them still because they're still the leaders. I want them to lead. That's just what it's going to take. That the leaders understand their role, understand when to back off, understand when to use influence, which is most of the time. Trying to use control and change will always backfire. What is the difference between control and influence? One leads with value, the other one leads with shame. Listen to me carefully. Control. The difference between control and influence is that influence leads with value. Different is like the same thing between different between persuasive and manipulation. Okay, influence leads with value. Control leads with shaming. Like let me get you to submit. Like for example, yesterday, as usual, I try to come through TikTok and just listen to what people are saying up there. Sometimes I join the conversation to just drag them small. Yeah, I see the guy is already catching feelings because when I come, I say, "You're wrong. You're wrong." He was talking about submission and love. He said they were trying to scold women to know to submit so that their husband can love them. When I hear stuff like that, I'm like, "You're wrong. It's out of order." Okay, that is a shaming tactic. If you don't submit to, you will not get love. And then they try to use the Bible and Jesus as analogy. I said, but you're wrong. They said, well, you won't access the love of Christ if you don't submit to Jesus. I said, you're wrong. Everybody have access to the love of Christ. Imagine life without grace, without mercy. Imagine if it's based off of your righteousness. You're wrong. There's no shape or form you're going to move this. Love is the closest thing to unconditional giving. And I always tell you, humans are incapable of unconditional love. That's why you need God. You need to tap into your spirituality so that you can have a higher purpose. Because that higher purpose will drive you to continue to give from inside out. Submission is conditional. So when people try to talk you into submission because if you don't submit, you will miss out, that's an example of shaming. Okay. Now, some people might say the same thing about, well, if you don't, is it the same thing they're trying to get us men to do by telling us to love first? Maybe. It depends on context, right? So when people say love, I always ask them too, what do you mean by love? In this space, in this social media age, when people say love, I say, what do you mean by love? Elaborate. If you can't put it into words, then it's probably not love. It's probably just talking about some other bullshit. Okay? People do that a lot. Yes, babes wins. Absolutely. All right. So shame is the tactic that controlling people use. If you don't do this, we'll end up in the ditch. We'll end up in trouble. You will end up. That's what they use, and we all do that sometimes when we can't get our way. When we can't have our way, we try to use shaming tactics. If you if you don't submit to that man today, you will end up in the streets. Okay, so I have to round up. Those are the two things because I have to go ahead and my wife is calling me. I want to go ahead and answer to something real quick because she doesn't have signal. Okay. So, but that's the point that I wanted to bring to this. So I guess we ended up with just, I guess, how many minutes? 38 minutes. So in 38 minutes, I guess in 40 minutes. Okay. Two things. Wherever you see the couple goals you see out there is work. That is a beautiful thing because the losers are always avoiding the work. The winners understand that work can be difficult, can be frustrating, but it's worth it. Number two thing that I wanted to share with you, coming from that video, okay? Number two things I want to share with you is that focus on value, improve your influence skills. Understand that naturally you're probably using controlling tactics. It's not a narcissistic disorder thing, maybe a narcissistic trait. You're probably actively trying to shame, like the other person was telling. I was watching the other show the other day. Say, "Oh, if you don't do me well, I will just tell you you're not doing anything. You're using shaming. You're shaming your husband to do you well. Let's see how it goes for you." You don't know that you need seductive skills too, right? You don't think that your tone matters, and you will collect. And it's not Bula. You're probably going to suffer more if you don't know how to use your tongue to add value to other people. Influence, seduction. Those are two things I want you to focus on today. Hopefully you've been enlightened, educated. If you really like this video, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. You want to talk to me personally for free consultation, the links are in the description box below. You book a time on my calendar, we'll talk and see how we can help you out. If you want my books, you can download them for free, the audio books. The links are in the description below. One is called The Number One Red Flag. The other one is called Get My Marriage Back. Both of them written by me and my wife. And I have full 100% support of her. So you have two perspectives in terms of the help you get here in 40 minutes. Hopefully, you've been enlightened, educated. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.